boy is riding his bicycle when a black van suddenly stops in front of him. The boy is kidnapped by an insane abductor who has been targeting boys in the city. In this city, there is a young boy named Finney who lives with his father and sister. Finney's mother has passed away, and his father's behavior is abusive. He drinks excessively and treats his children poorly. One day at school, Finney is being bullied by a few boys when another boy steps in to help him. The new boy scares off the bullies and asks Finney if he can help him with math. Finney agrees, and the two quickly become friends. Later, two officers arrive at Finney's school to investigate the disappearance of the boy who was kidnapped at the start of the story. They speak to Finney's sister, asking her how she knew that the kidnapper had black balloons. The missing boy's sister, who is in the same class as Finney's sister, mentioned that the kidnapper had black balloons. The officers confirmed that black balloons were indeed found at the scene of the boy's disappearance and asked Finney's sister how she knew about them. She explains that she saw it in a dream. It turns out that whatever Finney's sister dreams about tends to come true. When the officers visit Finney's father to investigate further, he becomes angry and beats his daughter when he gets home. The father angrily asks his daughter why she told the officers about seeing black balloons with the kidnapper. She explains that she saw it in a dream, but her father dismisses her, saying that dreams aren't real and forbidding her from talking about her dreams to anyone. Finney and his sister are deeply troubled by their father's abusive behavior. Meanwhile, Finney's new friend, the one who stood up for him at school, encounters the same black van. The kidnapper abducts him, leaving no one to protect Finney at school. The bullies seize this opportunity and start picking on Finney again. His sister arrives just in time to save him from the bullies. She then tells Finney to head home while she goes to a friend's house for the night. As Finney is walking home alone, he sees the black van parked ahead. The kidnapper is outside, picking up some items from under the van. The man asks Finney for help. As Finney assists him, the man pulls out a bunch of black balloons and kidnaps Finney, causing him to lose consciousness. When Finney wakes up, he finds himself in a dark, soundproof room where no sound can escape. Finney realizes that screaming is useless in this soundproof room. The kidnapper, wearing a terrifying mask, comes in and introduces himself as the grabber. He assures Finney that he won't harm him before leaving. In the room, Finney notices a black phone, a window, and a toilet. The phone appears broken with a damaged wire. Despite his fear and confusion, Finney tries to think of a way to escape from the basement. Suddenly, the phone rings, startling Finney. He is shocked since the phone seems broken. Just as he is about to answer, the phone stops ringing and the grabber returns, mentioning that the phone has rung before, but he's unsure why. He leaves again, and the phone rings once more. This time, when Finney answers, he hears the voice of the boy who was kidnapped. The boy's spirit tells Finney to remove a specific tile on the floor and dig a tunnel to escape. Following the instructions, Finney begins digging and disposes of the soil by flushing it down the toilet, hoping the grabber won't notice. That same night, Finney's sister has a dream where she sees the grabber and her brother. Meanwhile, the grabber brings food to Finney and leaves the door open. As Finney is about to leave, the phone rings again, stopping him in his tracks. He answers the call and hears the voice of another boy, a schoolmate, who mysteriously vanished earlier. The boy on the phone tells Finney to dig a tunnel. Here, we see the souls of the boys who were killed by the grabber after being kidnapped. They want to help Finney escape, and their spirits communicate with him through the phone. The boy on the call warns Finney not to go upstairs because the grabber has left the door open as a trap to catch him. He suggests using a hidden rope to reach the window and call for help. Finney finds the rope but realizes it isn't long enough to reach the window. Meanwhile, Finney's sister tells their father about her dream, describing the kidnapper's terrifying mask and the place where Finney is being held. Concerned for his son, their father agrees to search for Finney with her. Elsewhere, two officers investigate the boys' kidnappings and visit a suspect's house. A man lives with his brother and tells the officers he suspects the kidnapper is in the area, unaware that his own brother is the grabber. The officers leave, not realizing that Finney is imprisoned in the basement of this house. The man is unaware of his brother's true nature or the existence of the basement. The grabber brings food to Finney and tries to coax his name out of him, promising to let him go if he reveals it. Finney, terrified, gives the grabber a fake name. Enraged, the grabber throws the food and a newspaper in front of Finney, which contains the news of his kidnapping and his real name. The grabber storms out in anger. As Finney sits in despair, he sees a boy's soul and the phone rings again. Answering it, the boy's soul explains that the grabber hasn't killed him yet because he hasn't played any games with him. He advises Finney to escape now while the grabber is likely asleep. The boy tells Finney that the password to the door is the number on his bicycle, which he has written on the wall. Finney cautiously moves to the door, entering the password and slowly opening it. However, the grabber wakes up and his dog starts barking. The grabber quickly recaptures Finney and locks him up again. Later, Finney receives another call from the boy's soul, who warns him that if he doesn't escape within a day, the grabber will kill him. The boy tells Finney there is a large fridge behind the wall, which he can reach by breaking through. Finney breaks the wall and gets into the fridge, only to find it locked from the outside. Feeling hopeless, Finney believes he will meet the same fate as the other boys. At that moment, the phone rings again. This time, it's the soul of the boy who used to defend him at school. He instructs Finney to fill the phone's receiver with soil to use it as a weapon. Meanwhile, Finney's sister is riding her bicycle in the rain, searching for the grabber's house, which she saw in her dream. Meanwhile, the souls of the 5 boys who were killed by the grabber appear in front of Finney's sister. Frightened, she falls off her bicycle, but then recognizes the house from her dream. She quickly calls the officers investigating the case and tells them about the house. The scene shifts to the grabber's brother, who starts to suspect something is wrong. He discovers the basement and is shocked to find Finney there. Before he can help, the grabber arrives and kills his brother. The grabber then turns his attention to Finney, intending to kill him. He ties his dog at the door to prevent Finney from escaping and goes after Finney. Desperately trying to evade the grabber, Finney runs around the basement but falls into a ditch he had previously dug as a trap. As the grabber approaches, Finney uses the wire from the black phone to strangle him, ultimately killing the grabber. However, Finney still can't escape because the grabber's dog is guarding the door. Outside, Finney's sister leads the officers to the house. The officers break in and discover the bodies of the boys the grabber had killed. Inside, Finney finds a piece of meat and throws it to the dog, distracting it. Knowing the door's password, he unlocks it and finally escapes. The officers and his sister are relieved to find him alive. Finney emerges to see many police cars around. It's revealed that the grabber had 2 houses, one for keeping the dead bodies of the boys and another for imprisoning them. The police didn't find Finney at first because the 2 houses were right across from each other. With the truth uncovered, Finney's father apologizes to his children, promising to change his ways and treat them better. Finney returns to school, where everyone is astonished by his transformation. He is no longer the fearful boy he once was, having survived and ended the grabber's reign of terror. The film concludes with a lesson. We should be cautious about helping strangers, as Finney and the other kids learned the hard way. This is where the film ends.